In the maritime burg of Anvil, situated upon the gold coast of Cyrodiil, strains a distressed scholar. Amid aging vellum and worn bindings, he scrambles to fathom the cataclysm that has seized the province. His once joyous city, a lush, idyllic haven for seagoers and traders alike, now stood overwhelmed by a ghastly shadow, an ominous portent of chaos. Haunted by stories of great gateways of cinder and brimstone opening up in realms afar, his concerns expanded, feeding on tales from the harsh climes of Skyrim, the mysterious marshes of Argonia, known also as Black Marsh, and the ashen lands of Morrowind. These narratives, whispered by survivors and wanderers seeking refuge, painted the perils of a severe catastrophe, the Oblivion crisis. Lo, the dreaded Daedric Prince of Destruction, Marunas Dagon himself, led this brutal invasion. From these apocalyptic gates gushed repugnant horrors. Beastly denizens of the Daedric Plains, embodiments of pandemonium, rampaged across the provinces, leaving wreckage in their wake. The effect of the crisis reverberated far from the comforts of Cyrodiil, the epicenter. Terrifying it was, this drip of danger from an abyss into the realm of mortal men. It devoured the peace, ravaged the lands, and filled hearts with a dread so powerful it could sway even the staunchest hearts. Ancient homelands became quicksand pits of despair. No longer were the scholar's distractions of mere word and verse. Threads of a menace far greater tugged at his curiosity, clawing his attention away from his customary pursuits. The face of life as he knew it was changing, mutated by the red-hot tines of a Daedric fork, and he found himself impelled to save his homeland from, in all due essence, hell itself. Could he, a humble scholar of Anvil, find a way to thwart this Daedric infestation? Or was it futile hope, like capturing lightning in a bottle? Time alone would tell. Leaving the cloistered alcoves of Anvil and his beloved scrolls behind, our scholar embarked upon a grim pilgrimage. The trail first led him into the biting winds and frozen landscapes of Skyrim, home of the hardy, fiercely proud Nords. Stoic yet ferocious, the sons and daughters of the sky met the invading Daedra with unyielding valor, their war cries echoing in the frigid air. However, the scourge from Oblivion gnawed at their abundant reserves, diminishing them alarmingly, weakening the bulwark of hero kings and warriors. Discord reared its head amid the leadership, the beleaguered Jarls squabbling in the shadow of the crisis. Little did they know, this dissonance would sow the seeds of a bloody civil war years hence. Leaving the frosted peaks and meads of Skyrim behind, the scholar traversed across the continent to the miasmic swamps of Black Marsh. What he found was a landscape of desolation and decay within the already harsh and perilous wetlands. Engulfed by the Oblivion crisis, the swamps seemed a pitiful shadow of their former self. Yet among the devastation, he found a glimmer of resistance. Fueled by the enigmatic wisdom of the sentient hist trees, the indigenous Argonians launched a counter-offensive, a feat unrivaled in the annals of this war. They were the only race to dare carry a fight into the maw of the enemy, marching into the very gates of Oblivion themselves. With vivid images of Argonian brazenness still replaying in his mind, the scholar then journeyed towards Morrowind, a province laden with tedious politics and the religious strife surrounding the Nerevarine prophecy. To his horror, the crisis before him fueled the volatility of the region, catalyzing the violent eruption of Red Mountain, a catastrophe that plunged Morrowind into a veil of volcanic gloom. Worse yet, in the haze of destruction, the Argonians, once slaves to the Dunmer, angry and opportunistic, invaded Morrowind. Amidst fire and blood, after eons of barely surviving beneath the boot of their Dunmer masters, they seized their chance for retribution. Amid these calamities, the proud Dunmer culture teetered precariously, almost collapsing into the ashes of its ancient glory. As the scholar documented these dark days in a journal, his heart grew heavy with sorrow and fear. It seemed as though Nirn was on the brink of collapse, and even if he could contribute to its salvation, the question remained, would it ever truly recover from the tendrils of the crisis that sank their hooks so deeply into its heart? Embarking upon this grim journey allowed the scholar, a simple man of Anvil, to witness firsthand and incandescent the tableau of valor, devastation, and political upheaval that the Oblivion crisis brought about. Haunted yet enlightened by these narratives, he returned to Cyrodiil, his perspective transformed. it dawned upon him that the Oblivion crisis was not an event in isolation. Rather, it acted as a potent catalyst in the great beaker of life, influencing the course of civilizations and stoking the embers of simmering tensions and conflicts. It sparked unprecedented alliances, brought down established orders, and fertilized the ground for a new world to burgeon. Less a chapter in history and more a terrifying, poignant pivot, the crisis wreaked irreversible shifts in the identity and soul of entire nations, their fates swaying with each Daedric incursion. The landscape of Tamriel, both literally and societally, was forever changed, branded by the iron-hot chaos of Oblivion. At the end of this perilous journey, our scholar found solace in an unexpected place, beneath the honeyed glow of the candle hearth in Windhelm, a spirit-lifting refuge from the howling winds outside. As he sat, cloaked in warmth, he listened to the mournful tune of a Nord bard plucking his lute. Tearful eyes closed, head bowed, the bard offered a heartfelt elegy to the fallen, and a song of quiet hope for those yet standing against the Daedric storm. Inspired by their courage and the tenderness of the music, the scholar came to one profound realization. History, much like Daedric magic, is potent and transformative, filling hearts with hope even in the darkest of times. So as he scribbled his last lines onto worn parchment, he left behind him not mere historical chronicles, but lessons of resilience, courage, and the promise of a new dawn following Oblivion's twilight. Indeed, every ending carries within it the seeds of a new beginning. As it was with the crisis, so ever it will be with Tamriel, bright steeples rising from the ruins of the old.